This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened. We begin on the morning of February 2nd, 1991, along a stretch of road that winds through the rolling hills near Paso Robles, California. Gordy and Jane Ortiz and their 2 teenage children were heading for their weekend place in Heritage Ranch.
The ground was still damp. It must have rained pretty well the night before. There was a car in front of us. It was a Jeep Wagoneer going the speed limit.
Bonnie Hogue, driving right behind the Ortizes, recognized the driver of the Jeep, 17-year-old Kim Potts.
I knew the car well. Kim was our babysitter.
It's a very beautiful drive. But when we get on this one particular road leading to the ranch, it's a very windy, narrow road.
This pickup just seemed to come out of nowhere. There was absolutely no way that it could have been avoided.
Mom, call for help!
All the homes are back off the road. And if you get in an accident, unless somebody else comes by, you're out there alone.
Get up! Come on! Help me, open the door! Oh my God, Jimmy, that car's on fire!
The car was already starting to smoke inside. I tried once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I couldn't get it open.
I felt helpless. I felt like I was losing one of my own children.
You can see flames coming from the other side of the hood.
Her window was down, but the steering wheel was crushed right on her lap. She was pinned in.
Take her over there. Be careful, her head's bleeding. Just take her over there.
I just wanted to help her so bad. I can remember vividly turning around to my daughter and my son, and I said, Tina, Gordy, start walking away. Take off, go. I didn't want them to see her burn to death.
When we continue,
it was obvious there was not much time left before the car was being totally engulfed. All I could think of is that I was going to watch that girl burn to death in front of my eyes.
the call for help was immediately relayed by the operator to the Heritage Ranch Volunteer Fire Department. Less than 2 miles down the road from the accident, Kim's parents, Michael and Carolyn Potts, were waiting for her to get home.
She had called me from town, told me she was on her way, and I knew exactly how long it took. When the trucks came by, I immediately felt a pit in my stomach. I just knew something had happened to Kim.
Yeah, I'll go check what's going on. You put the... My wife gave me a look, and to make her feel better, I started down the road, expecting to have my daughter pass me at any time, and I would just ride home with her.
It's a type of scream you'll never, ever forget. And it was within seconds that the flames went nuts.
It's a fire extinguisher!
I'd run up to people and I'd ask them, do you have a fire extinguisher? And some people would reply and other people would just stare at me as if maybe I was speaking some other language.
Oh my God, do you have a fire extinguisher?
I needed help. I needed a miracle. God, I needed a miracle. She was already starting to catch fire.
Every time I came back, it was almost as if it was a different person in there, from the long blonde hair to getting shorter and shorter, and before you saw a clear face, and then before you knew it, it's a red face, and it's just something that I'm never gonna forget.
Gary Busis was heading up to some property he owned in the area when he came upon the crash.
It was obvious there was not much time left before the car would be totally engulfed. All I could think of is that I was going to watch that girl burn to death in front of my eyes. By the time I got to the car, the passenger side of the car was engulfed in flames, but I could not lift her out through the window.
I got a chain!
I remembered that I had a chain in my truck. At least I thought I had the chain in my truck. By the time I got back with the chain, the flames were vastly greater. The terror and torment that must be going on in that girl's mind. I had nightmares about that for weeks and weeks after that. Like 15 seconds after I got the victim out of the car, the total car was engulfed in flames. The car burned entirely, even down to the tires.
She was so hot and just so smoldering. But there was no water around.
Mommy, I love you. I love you. Please don't leave me, okay? I'm right here, honey. I'm not gonna leave you. Promise me. I will not leave you. She kept telling me that she loved me. Then she'd scream out in pain, tell me that it hurt.
I wanted her to live, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Paramedic John Dunkel assessed Kim's condition at the scene.
The first thing I thought about is, God, this poor girl, what's going to happen to her life now? And the second thing I thought about is, this has got to be a parent's worst nightmare.
I could see a little smoke in the distance. So I rounded a curve and saw this dark Jeep sideways on the road and the ski racks. I knew it was our car.
You have a Kim Potts in there.
The driver said, we have a Kim.
I'm going with you.
I just felt my world fall apart.
Kim was airlifted to the burn unit at Sherman Oaks Community Hospital, 170 miles away, with third-degree burns over 35% of her body.
They told us the extent of her injuries and that they were life-threatening. It's just something we couldn't deal with.
Either my husband or myself were with her 24 hours. There were many times that I just hold on to her and just try to somehow make the pain come from her and go into me. It was so hard to watch her suffer.
Straighten the elbow. Straighten the elbow.
One of the hardest things was to see Kim building up courage when she knew she was going to have to go through something like physical therapy.
She's always been shy and quiet. It was just amazing to watch. I was really surprised how strong and how determined she was.
Elbow exercises, honey.
We were told she wouldn't walk for 12 to 18 months, and she was determined to walk for her graduation. That was her goal.
Dr. Michelle Bronis treated Kim at the burn center.
It was a miraculous cure. She was in our burn center just shy of 2 months. And there was a magical transformation from really a teenager to a full woman.
After weeks of painful skin grafts and physical therapy for her burnt limbs and shattered leg, Kim was able to leave the hospital. On June 13th, 1991, just 4 months after the accident, Kim's class graduated from Paso Robles High School.
I just want to tell everybody that helped in my rescue, I owe my life to everybody, and I'd do anything for them. All they have to do is call me.
She's even told me that when she becomes a doctor, if I'm ever sick or anything happens to me, she's going to take care of me the rest of my life. But I told her she really should major in geriatrics, so I won't need a pediatrician.
The men and women who rescued Kim were honored for heroism by the California Highway Patrol. 1 year later, her family remains close to them.
Calling you?
When the situation got very dangerous, they didn't back off. They stayed in there. No, they made a difference on this earth, and it's not all of us can say that.
Good things can definitely come out of near tragedies. Many good things.
Every day we make hundreds of decisions, most of which are simply routine. But on the morning of December 4th, 1989 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Jerry Meredith and his wife Donna were on their way home from running errands when they faced a choice that was anything but ordinary. Much of the footage that follows was taped as events unfolded that day.
Look at that guy down there. He's going nuts.
I didn't understand what actually was going on at that time, but I thought there was just been an accident or the bank was being robbed. Look at that van right at the door. Look at that van. And at that instant, this particular white van sped off. It's following. So I told my wife, let's just see where this here white van comes out, and we'll follow it. All of a sudden, a black Ford Tempo spit out right in front of me.
And then we looked to the right, and there's the white van with the doors open. So then we knew the bank's been robbed, and the robbers, have changed from the van to this black car.
Realizing that I had my wife in the car, and it was dangerous, not just for myself, for her, I was trying to stay as far away as I could.
There they are.
I told my wife, don't even look at them, don't pay any attention to them. And we just drove right by them nonchalantly. Eased my car up just enough so I could see this individual stuffing money into a bag. He was stuffing money into a sack as fast as he could. And all of a sudden, he stood straight up and looked in my direction. I would assume he didn't see me. I gave him maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I started inching back up to see what's going on. Well, at that time, a white Volvo pulled right back out onto the street and started heading back in the direction they had just come.
The car, there's nobody in the car there.
And I looked back into the parking lot where the black Ford Tempo was, It was empty, so I knew that they had to be in that white Volvo.
Oh, that's where they're going.
Oh, God, they know we're following him. Let's get out of here.
So I immediately just stopped in my tracks, turned into a driveway, backed up, and just nonchalantly hit it right back where I came from. Like nothing was happening, Sunday Drive. But I knew in my mind, if I didn't get back to the bank as quick as I could, that these individuals could get away.
Knoxville police officer Terry Clowers was investigating the robbery when Jerry pulled up.
He was just driving just real wild and went to yelling at me. I followed the bank robbers. Come and follow me, I'll show you where they're at. And I had to jump back in the car and chase him. He was just real convincing. So I just told him over the radio a subject was taking me to where the suspects were at.
I got very nervous because they had moved the white Volvo out of the front of the house.
Is this it? Go to the Recreation Center and wait.
You know, I got to thinking, this might be the wrong house. You know, he might have just followed somebody that was making a withdrawal.
Hey, I see somebody looking out the window.
But she was real frantic. And I said, well, you know, something's wrong here. People, you know, if they see a couple cruisers in front, they might step out on the porch and say, what's going on, officer? You know, if nothing was going on.
Where's he at, Terry?
Officer Jim Marino, which we call Guido, arrived.
Okay, move on up, go.
Young officer, and I took him kind of under my wing.
Got it. Okay.
Come to the front door, walk outside now.
I informed them that we were the police. They were completely surrounded. There was no means of escape. Told them to come out with their hands raised. No one would get hurt.
Open the front door, walk outside. You're completely surrounded.
Officer Larry Gilland continued to talk to the suspects as an elderly woman living in an apartment behind the house was evacuated.
Front door.
Less than half an hour after they surrounded the house, a female suspect surrendered to police.
Come to the front door. Come outside onto the porch now.
About 15 minutes later, the first man of the group came out. Tried the same thing again, but no response with the third guy. He was the hard case.
An FBI team arrived and took up positions around the house, including Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Tom Locke.
One of the primary things we wanted to do was to find out as much intelligence information from the two who had surrendered about the third one who was still inside. Basically, there were two things. One, he was armed. He had several weapons. And secondly, both the suspects thought that this individual was of a mind that he was not going to come out.
Don't take the camera off my face.
When we continue.
He was caught up, trapped, had no place to go, and it was his choice to either come out dead or alive.
The Knoxville Police Department SWAT team took over at the scene, with the FBI supporting and Agent John Denton negotiating.
What we try to do in this kind of situation is slow everything down. Get that person who's on the inside, whether they have hostages or not, to assess his situation in a realistic way.
This is John Denton of the FBI. I'm a negotiator. I want you to relax. Take it easy.
This is a problem with this incident. There's no phone in the house. With a bullhorn, you really can't tell with the dynamics whether the person is actually tuned into you. He's been through a bank robbery, so he's very high on anxiety. He's fired up. His adrenaline's pumping. He thought he was safe. Suddenly he realized he's surrounded by the police. He's got weapons in there. He's got a lot of bank robbery loot. Two people, probably in his mind, and I'm second guessing here, have abandoned him. And there he is, stuck.
The SWAT team commander, Lieutenant Jim Kennedy, was in charge at the scene.
He was caught up, trapped, had no place to go, and it was his choice to either come out dead or alive.
You got control right now. Stand by. You got control. Stand by. What's going to happen after this?
One of the sharpshooters on the scene was Officer Gary Moyers.
We figured that a rational person would see that the uselessness of the situation and come out. If not, we would deploy some gas and force him out into us.
As the standoff entered its third hour, tear gas rounds were launched into the house.
Normally, whenever a person is exposed to gas, it's a shock effect, you know. I give up, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
No one needs to get hurt. We will treat you fairly. There's no reason for anyone to get hurt.
Captain Cummins, we're doing fire on.
Guido yelled at me, "Terry, I've been hit." Oh, he was just telling me, "Terry, it burns, it burns." It was just real scary. I didn't know if he had his stomach blown away.
Hey, get that damn ammo! Hold on.
Guido and I were real close, and it scared me real bad.
And I crawled up alongside, pulled out the microphone, and said, "I think we've all had enough of this. Why don't you throw out your gun?" And almost immediately, a gun came out the window.
Very positive sign. Oh, he's still got two weapons.
There he is. He got his hands up. They got him. He surrendered. There he is. Got him.
Talked him out on the front porch. Had the weapon on his own chest, giving the peace sign. So in effect, he's holding himself hostage for his own safety. If he came out of there in any other posture, with the emotions out there, with an officer being shot, and all the other gunfire that went on, cruisers being damaged, bullets, holes, and things, somebody on the perimeter might have shot him.
He told us that he was going to kill himself. He said, "Don't get excited." And we said, "No, don't." We kept trying to get him to throw the gun out. And the FBI agent was there with me. I looked and I said, "I can hit the gun." It knocked it up away from his chest. And he turned and turned the pistol and looked at it and saw that it was damaged.
After 4 hours, the final suspect was taken into custody. He was later found guilty of bank robbery and attempted murder and sentenced to prison. The other male suspect was also sentenced to prison. The woman was cleared of all charges. Jerry Meredith has received numerous awards for his quick thinking in spotting the bank robbers that day.
Had he not followed them and observed the car switching and then taken us to that location, we probably wouldn't have caught them.
Because he'd been wearing a bulletproof vest, Officer Richard Giamarino recovered quickly from the gunshot.
The vest absorbs the energy of the bullet, but the bullet is moving at such a fast rate that it actually burns you. It's like being hit with a baseball bat or a hot poker.
Guido's living proof of wearing the body armor, and a lot of officers that normally left that vest hanging in their locker now put it on.
One moment a child can be perfectly safe, and the next, fighting for her life. as Leah Eads and her husband Deward found out on August 13th, 1991, at their home in Renton, Washington.
It was late in the afternoon. I was babysitting my 2 grandchildren, Kendra and Jared. My husband was asleep on the lawn chair. Kendra asked me if she could go in and get a graham cracker, and I told her yes, and come right back out.
Oh, Kendra.
Automatically, I'm thinking she must be cut somewhere. So I looked her over and didn't see anything right there on the spot. So I carried her on into the kitchen and put her on the counter and kept looking her over.
Is she bleeding?
And then she stiffened up all of a sudden and just went completely limp. And at that time is when I seen the blood pumping out of her chest cavity.
It was just a fountain of blood. I have never seen anyone lose blood like that before.
I took her pulse, and there was no pulse, and also there was no breathing. I put my right hand over the wound, so then I started giving her mouth to mouth. But I could feel the air that I was blowing into her little body was just blowing right through her system and bubbling right out under my right hand.
Police Fire Medical Operator 30.
Yes, I need an aid car, please.
At what address?
319.
Dispatcher Michelle Locco took the call for help.
Is that a house or an apartment?
House.
What's the problem there?
My granddaughter ran through a storm door, and she's bleeding bad, and I think she's in shock.
How old is she?
She's 5.
It was a glass storm door?
Yes,
I pictured a basic life support call. Probably lacerations, but nothing life-threatening.
A12, an injured child, 2319 Northeast Street.
Rescue workers from the Renton Fire Department were dispatched to the scene.
Where is she bleeding from?
Down by her heart.
Where?
It's in her chest.
Tell me how deep the cut is.
I don't know. It's spurting out.
I immediately realized it was a very serious situation. A child can't sustain the kind of blood loss that an adult can for the simple reason they don't have that much blood in their body.
Please, just hurry him.
Ma'am, they're already being dispatched, okay? My job is to talk to you and find out more information.
Okay, I really don't know. I don't know.
Ma'am, you have to calm down in order to help your grandchild.
I know.
Is she awake?
No, she isn't.
Is she able to breathe?
My husband is breathing into her.
She's not breathing?
Yes, they are.
Is she breathing?
I don't know.
Can you check? Put the phone down
and check. Is she breathing, Deward? No, she isn't.
Information about the seriousness of the little girl's condition was immediately passed on to the rescuers.
5-year-old that went through a storm door appears to have severe chest lacerations. The child is now unconscious.
A King County Advanced Life Support Unit was also sent to help, but it was 10 miles away.
Is she still bleeding?
Yes.
Is the blood bubbling out of her chest?
It was spurting out. My husband has his hand over it, so...
Okay, does he have it completely sealed with his hand?
Yes,
The possibility that she would die in front of her grandmother and her grandfather went through my mind.
Okay, why don't you get him a piece of saran wrap or something plastic that he can put over that injury, okay?
All right.
You put the phone down, do that, and come back.
All right, I will.
Putting plastic wrap on the chest wound would have sealed the injury until the aid crew arrived, and it would have prevented the air from moving in and out of the body and prevented a collapsed lung. But she didn't come back to the phone. And without knowing why she didn't return to the phone, all I could do was imagine. Maybe she was already dead.
When we continue.
There was no heart rhythm at all, no electrical activity at all. Nothing that would keep that little person alive.
EMT Mark Brem got to the scene within 4 minutes.
As we approached the residence, a gentleman out front flagged us over, and I'll never forget, very solemnly he looked at me and said, "I don't think she's going to make it."
Straight on back.
I checked her immediately for vitals to see if she had a pulse or any respiration. She had none.
Let's get her down to the floor.
I lowered her to the floor where we had room to work on
You got
her.
that blanket there, ma'am?
I asked my partner to start breathing for her with a bag valve mask.
Get ready to bag, Tom. We got CPR.
812, all incoming units. We've got child CPR going. Okay, but we're going to be late in traffic here.
Paramedic Mel McClure and his partner were still more than 5 miles away.
It was tremendously frustrating to be fighting the traffic, knowing they were doing CPR on this little girl. The thing that goes through my mind then is it possible for us to make it there in time?
The members from our engine company entered the house and hooked her up to 100% oxygen and to our heart monitor.
Stop CPR?
But there was no heart rhythm at all, no electrical activity at all.
Okay.
Nothing that would keep that little person alive.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Good.
I wanted to trade places with her. I just didn't want this perfect little girl to have to go through something like this. And I can just see her slipping away.
When the paramedics arrived, they immediately commenced advanced life support.
When we walked in, I looked at the monitor. It was flatline. To me, that said that she had bled to death. We took the attitude that we were going to resuscitate this little girl. We wanted to be very aggressive and bring her back.
The first problem was how to replenish the massive blood loss.
It was more than just dripping fluids. We were squeezing the bags to force it in as rapidly as we could.
Okay. Everybody quiet so Tom can listen to breath sounds. Hold chest compression.
The chances of surviving from traumatic cardiac arrest is pretty grim. It's very hard to work on a dead 5-year-old girl. Very hard. Everyone's emotional pitch is tuned up to a higher degree. Everybody wants to save this little girl. And all the time there's a voice in the back of your head saying, go, go, go.
After more than 10 minutes, they finally got a sign of life.
Gentlemen, I got a pulse. All right, blood pressure.
5-year-old Kendra was then taken to a landing zone set up at a nearby school, where a helicopter was waiting to transport her to a trauma center 20 miles away.
When we loaded her into the helicopter, we all felt just a real sense of accomplishment. And I took a report over to the truck and happened to overhear the radio transmission to the hospital.
And I heard a clipboard slam against the ground. And I turned around to look at Mel, and he said he just heard over the radio that they started CPR in the helicopter.
And I walked away from the truck and looked at the guys and just said, we lost her.
The flight nurses managed to restart her heart one more time. The little girl was admitted to Harborview Medical Center under the care of trauma surgeon Timothy Pullman.
She was in critical condition. In a situation like this, death can occur very quickly. It's imperative to get them quickly to the operating room.
We need a part from here to here.
Kendra's parents, Kathy and Alan Eads, rushed to the hospital as soon as they heard what had happened.
It's just a horrible feeling of just sitting there waiting. You feel very numb, just waiting for word of how she's doing. I just kept thinking, my Kendra, my little baby.
Okay, let's go. We first encountered bleeding from a severed artery, which we were able to stop very easily. From there, we proceeded to open her abdomen, thinking the next injury would be in her abdomen from the stab wound. But when we opened her abdomen, she then sustained her third cardiac arrest, and I was certain that she was not going to survive and make it off the table. In desperation, we opened the left side of her chest, and we found a piece of glass that was protruding from the heart. We were very surprised. I've never encountered a patient with a piece of glass sticking out of her heart.
Hi. Hi, I'm Dr. Pullman. I operated on Kendra.
I told Kendra's mother and father that I didn't think there was better than a 25% chance that she would survive, and that if she did survive, Kendra would probably have brain damage
from the period when her heart had stopped pumping blood to her brain.
We saw her being wheeled out of the elevator, covered in white sheets with tubes hanging and her eyes closed, and her hands were blood-stained, and it was an awful thing to see.
Kendra was transferred to Children's Hospital and Medical Center, where she was placed in a drug-induced coma to give her the best chance to heal.
We didn't know if she could hear us, so we talked to her like she could. I told her that I loved her, that I was with her.
As the days went by, Kendra's condition began to deteriorate. A medical team, including cardiologist Isamu Kawabori, discovered that the wound in her heart wasn't healing.
We were able to inject a special dye, and we could see the heart chambers, and we could see that that hole was very large and causing her heart to fail. And so this was also affecting her lungs and her other organ systems.
Kendra needed emergency surgery, but there was a chance her heart might be too weak to survive it.
I had no idea. I had no idea if I was going to see her or not. See her alive again.
Kendra Eads underwent 4 hours of delicate open-heart surgery. 2 months later, she made an amazing recovery.
Kendra has no restrictions on her play. She can do everything that all the other kids can do.
There are a lot of people involved in how well she's doing now. There's hardly any words to express how grateful we are to them for bringing back our daughter.
A lot of people helped me, and I'm happy about that.
There's no way that I can ever repay what they did. I am very thankful. They gave me my little girl back.
The real heroes here were the grandparents, because they were the ones that started the rescue breathing for this little girl. That bought us the time that we needed to save her.
Every person, every mother, every father, every child who's old enough should know CPR, not only adult CPR, but infant and child CPR as well.
That's good. They took me to the hospital and got me all better so I could go home like I am now. I'm glad I'm home now so I can play with my brother. You shouldn't eat air. You should eat food or stuff like that.
When I see her playing, I just want to sit and soak it in and realize what a miracle she is. I just love her with all my heart.